everyone. Thanks for tuning Blaque in once again to the QueenAShakur TV show and Authentic Black Goddess TV. I'm your host, QueenAShakur, and this is the first dose of your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channels if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at QueenAShakur. And make sure you follow the QueenAShakur fan page on Instagram. All right. Hello, Soldier M, Susan, Brianna, TJ, Kathy B, Millie, JB1, Tayana, D Hustle. All right, Christopher, I see you. Christopher says, keep doing Black Media Queen. You know I will, beloved. Hello, Christine, Emmanuel, Sonia. Jay Parrish is in the house. Ada Ward. Okay, says, OMG, I finally got you guys live. Hello, beloved. All right, Van. Amatula, Oyela, Melanated Brown, Gaming System. Let's get into it. Let's get into it, people. All right, now, listen to this. This is just so ghetto, people. When you all talk about ghetto, this is the epitome of it. Listen to this. So, cameras capture 3 women robbing a Tamarack beauty supply store. But here's the thing that's so ghetto. One of them actually had a child on her hip. Now, I'm sorry, you're out here committing a whole robbery and you're carrying a baby. Who does that? It's all so ridiculous. So I'm going to show you all the video. One used pepper spray on an employee and another one was carrying a child. So it said a beauty supply store burglary was caught on camera in Tamarack. The crime happened on Sunday night at the Beauty Plug supply shop located at 6949 West Commercial Boulevard. 3 women walked in the store, stole several items, and pepper sprayed an employee. Now, cameras inside the store show one of the crooks was actually holding a child, and another one appeared to be pregnant. Now, this is just all crazy. So one of them's pregnant, and the other one's holding the child with her. Who does this? What is the world coming to? Now, the shop owners told local 10 news that the 3 women walked inside and just pepper sprayed her daughter, and then stole several wigs. Now they're sitting up here throwing rocks at the penitentiary, no less, for wigs. The things we do for lace fronts, right? Absolutely deplorable. Right. You know what? I should have actually saved this story for my next episode of Totally Useless News. But pay attention. So Monday afternoon, a Broward Sheriff's Office detective came out to speak with the owner, and they are now looking into this case. The cameras got a pretty good look at the women who did this. And they say anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers, of course. So I'm going to show you all the videos so y'all can just see how ghetto, not so fabulous this actually is. This is like an embarrassment. Seriously. Really an embarrassment, people. Hold on. I'm going to silence my mic for just a moment. Susan Butler said the owner is Black. Are you serious? That's even worse. Dr. Francis said we would come to this in these times. It's going to get worse. Absolutely, Rady King. You're right. So anyway, is it still buffering, Judah Queen? Try to refresh, beloved. Salby said, child, the ghetto. Nene Leak's voice. Okay. Christina said, it's the wig for me, LOL. Okay. That's what they went to steal. Brother Sly said that Yaki Hollywood silk is addictive. Brother Sly, what do you know about Yaki? I'm so through with you. Tayana said this is unbeweaveable. Anita said this is so stupid. She do know that they're going to take her child. Right. I mean, how dumb are you? And they listen, we're about to see this. Howard said Miss Wig. Okay. Okay. Judah Queen said no, it's not Queen. I refreshed. Okay, good, beloved. Okay, let's get into it because this is just real sad. Now I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna mute my mic for a moment.
falling victim to an ugly crime.
Crooks going to great lengths to snatch some pricey wigs, even using a baby to pull off this hair-raising heist. Local 10's Ian Margot is live now from Tamarack with a crime on camera you need to see, really to believe. Ian.
This happened last night. Allegedly, 3 women walked into this beauty supply store here in Tamarack. They stole 3 very expensive wigs and even allegedly pepper sprayed one of the people working here. Cameras inside the store show one of them was holding a baby and another one was pregnant. Surveillance cameras caught an alleged robbery and assault at this beauty supply store Sunday evening, and the 3 women in these pictures weren't alone. It happened at the Beauty Plug beauty supply shop in Tamarack over the weekend. The shop's owner telling us these 3 women walked inside and then pepper sprayed her daughter before stealing several wigs. All the while, one of the alleged attackers, wearing a green Yellowstone t-shirt, was holding a very young child, and another in the Playboy t-shirt appears to be pregnant. On Monday afternoon, a Broward Sheriff's Office detective came out to speak with the owner, spending hours inside the store going over the video. They are now looking into this case. So those cameras got a very good look at those women. It is crystal clear. So if you recognize them, if you know anything at all that can help with this case, help out this store owner. They've only been open since April, and they work every single day to pay their bills. If you know anything that can help, call Broward Crime Stoppers at 954-493-TIPS. Live in Tamarack, I'm Ian Margot, Local 10 News.
Now, I'm sorry, but that's beyond ridiculous, people. Beyond ridiculous, all right? I mean, surely they could have waited till Christmas. Maybe someone would have bought them a lace front for a present. At least have good mug shots. Let me tell y'all something. What was it? They didn't have common sense to wear a mask. Right. I mean, it is a pandemic. They could have at least covered the bottoms of their faces. Like, how stupid. Let me tell y'all something. This stuff all seems just so ridiculous. I'm sorry. First of all, who does that? And you didn't wear a mask, and now would be the perfect time to have on a mask because everybody's wearing masks. Like, make it all make sense. And then you're looking right at the camera. They'll be caught by tomorrow, if not today, okay? Someone knows who they are. Like, you could see them so clearly. And then the pregnant one, how does she even think she's going to get away with this? They're absolutely going to take their child. All right. Yes, that's beyond dumb. I mean, really. And then y'all are saying the store is Black owned. I didn't even know that. Now that's real stupid. Yep. LaMarcus says stupid is and stupid does. Lakeisha says stealing from your own people. God darn shame. Exactly. It really is. Anyway, now listen to this. Now I knew y'all would get a kick out of this. So January the 6th rally organizers decided they're going to sue Verizon to stop the release of their phone records. Now, mind you, these are the domestic terrorists who caused that insurrection at the Capitol on January the 6th. So they're literally suing Verizon just so they don't give their cell phone records out. Several organizers of the January 6th rally near the White House filed a lawsuit Monday against Verizon to prevent the telecommunications giant from sharing cell phone data with Congressional Committee investigating the deadly riot at the U.S. Capitol. The plaintiffs in the suit, Justin Corporale, Tim Unis, Maggie Mulvaney, and Megan Powers, argue that Congress lacks authority to obtain the requested cell phone data, which the committee has requested as part of its probe. Now, the committee subpoena issued to Verizon for their calls, texts, and location information. It lacks lawful purpose and seeks to invade the plaintiff's constitutional rights to privacy and to confidential political communications, according to the suit. Let me tell you something. If you're out here committing crimes, they have every right to get your cell phone records. As far as I'm concerned, they do it to other people. Like, who do these people think they are? You're going to go out here and commit a crime, and then you want to get to decide what evidence can be used against you? And you know what? They may win. I mean, because look at Kyle Rittenhouse. They did allow him to draw from a pool his own people who are going to deliberate on the jury, right? They allowed him to draw it like a lottery or something. So on January the 6th, each of the plaintiffs played a role in organizing the rally that was held on the ellipse where the then President Donald Trump spoke to a crowd of his supporters prior to the deadly attack on the Capitol. Now, some attendees marched to the Capitol following the rally, but organizers say their events was unrelated to the subsequent attack and that there was no connection to what transpired at the Capitol. So they said they didn't have anything to do with that, basically. Now, all the plaintiffs are longtime Republican political operatives, and most worked for Trump since his first presidential campaign in 2015. Some have continued to work for the Save America PAC, as the former president has continued to campaign or campaign-like events around the country in his post-presidency life. Now, in late September, the House Select Committee investigating the events of January the 6th and Donald Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election issued subpoenas to Caporale, Unes, and Mulvaney, Powers, and others allegedly tied to the organization of the rally on the ellipse. The subpoena sought a range of records that include materials dealing with the planning, the funding, and the participation in events and bus tours, social media activity of associated entities, and communications with their involvement of Trump administration officials and lawmakers. Earlier this month, each of the plaintiffs received a letter from Verizon to inform them that the company has also been subpoenaed by the committee for their respective phone records. Monday's lawsuit, which was filed in the U.S. District Court in New Jersey, claimed that the committee's subpoena request of Verizon was unconstitutional and called for the records to be destroyed. Now, they say if Congress wanted to know anything more about the plaintiffs, about their narrow intersection with the events it is allegedly investigating, well, it needed only to have asked. So what? Ask as if they're going to tell the truth. Of course they're not. So they said instead, the lawsuit says Congress pivoted to Verizon, the telecommunications carrier for each of the plaintiffs, to indiscriminately demand detailed information about their accounts, contracts, political associates, and locations over a 3-month period that greatly exceeds the short window of time about which Congress questioned the plaintiffs. Barbara Comstock, a former Republican congresswoman and a lead House investigator during the Clinton impeachment probe, has characterized Monday's lawsuit as a long-shot bid to stall the congressional probe in the hopes that Republicans regain control of the Congress in the midterm elections. She says these witnesses have their eye on the 2022 elections and think they can run out the clock. That's what she said. They're trying to practically stalling, trying to run out the clock. They said, but the Biden Justice Department will still be there to hold them in contempt until at least January of 2025. So in other words, stalling is not going to do anything. Now, in August, a select committee spokesperson confirmed that letters had been sent to 35 telecommunications and social media companies, instructing them to preserve records which may be relevant to the select committee's investigation without identifying the firms or the intended purpose of the requested records. They say the Democrat-led bipartisan panel investigating January the 6th has already issued dozens of subpoenas to Trump's political allies and former White House officials, many of whom have thus far refused to comply. Republican critics of the probe have dismissed it as politically motivated. Real crazy. Real crazy. So anyway, we'll see how that all turns out, how that goes for them. Stacey says, I hope they lose that suit. They should not have been at the White House anyway. Exactly. Like they really need to go to prison. I'm still mad that they're not deeming these devils as domestic terrorists. That's what they are. Like, let me tell y'all something. If a group of Black people, even if nobody had gotten killed, you let a group of Black people had gone up there complaining and tearing up stuff and causing all this havoc because we didn't get reparations or something, they would have absolutely said every last one was domestic terrorists and giving you the maximum sentence. Now all of these people are getting slaps on the wrist. Please miss me with it. Please miss me with it. Midnight Green says, it is amazing that they would do this to our own. They wouldn't try this in an Asian shop because they would have beat the brakes off them. Oh, you talking about the women that were robbed? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. They absolutely would not try it. Sally D says, even if we did anything of the sort as just gathering at the Capitol with no crimes being committed, they will shoot us down quick. You know they will. You can best, at least, the very least, they would have arrested everyone and given them felony charges. You do remember what they did to the 72 people that congregated during the protesting at, what is that guy's name? Daniel Kuhn-Moran. Yeah, remember they all came to his house and sat in the lawn, and they all got arrested. It was like 72 people, and they initially gave them felonies. All right. Luckily for them, the charges were later dismissed. Also crazy. So anyway, let's talk about this next story. Listen to this. You all remember the black woman who was handcuffed when the Chicago police bashed in her door, right? She was nude in her bedroom, and they came in there and they stood there for like 10 to 20 minutes before they even allowed her to get dressed, and they had her handcuffed. Mind you, they were at the wrong house. That was the craziest thing ever, and it's so disrespectful. And you know, I'm convinced that they purposely tried to humiliate black folks, because remember the black man who was in his house, and they came in his house for whatever reason, and then they made him come outside naked. He was literally in the shower, had soap all over his body. They made him come outside, stand on the sidewalk right outside of his garage, where the neighbors could see him. Like, who does that? That was so unnecessary. You mean to tell me he couldn't have put on a towel? You couldn't have given him a robe? Even if you didn't allow him to get fully dressed, he couldn't have covered up his private parts. But they only do this to black people, honey. I challenge anybody to give me a story where they've done this to a white person. All right? With no consequences. I don't think they've done it, period. So anyway, also crazy. Now I'm going to re-show that video for those of you who didn't see it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now they say, remember when Chicago cops handcuffed an innocent naked black woman? Well, now the city has to pay her $2.9 million, okay, for her humiliation. Should get more than that if you ask me. They say on the evening of 2019, over a dozen Chicago police officers, mind you, over a dozen Chicago police officers bashed down the door of the wrong house and found an innocent, unclothed black woman standing inside. Now, they immediately handcuffed her, but didn't bother to cover her with a blanket, choosing instead to either ignore her or gawk at her as they screamed in her face and menacingly waved their guns. The distraught woman told cops 43 times that they had the wrong house. After 20 minutes, the cops realized they had the wrong house, removed her handcuffs, and walked out the broken door. I don't even think they paid for the door. I think they made her pay for it herself to even fix it. Also crazy. Now, when the city of Chicago learned that CBS 2 had body cam footage of the botched raid, they tried to stop the channel from broadcasting it. Now, they didn't even want that to get out there, all right? But CBS 2 played the tape anyway, and I'm glad they did, because the story needed to be told. So, they say yesterday, after learning that CBS 2 had obtained the footage and was planning on airing it that night, the city of Chicago filed a motion to enjoin CBS 2 from running it, arguing that it would violate the confidentiality order. The federal judge in Young's case rejected the motion on the grounds that CBS 2 was not a party to the case and not subject to the order. Now, CBS 2's investigation showed that the raid on Young's home was completely avoidable if Chicago police had done the bare minimum, meaning they didn't even have to use critical thinking skills. They could have just used something called common sense, but apparently they didn't have any. Now, the bare minimum to vet the information on the search warrant. The warrant was based on a tip from a confidential informant who had provided the wrong address for a man suspected of having an illegal gun. The suspect lived next door to Young. Now, this is the information that came out at the time this happened. Now, they say the woman hired an attorney. He said that if the cops had raided the wrong house in one of Chicago's affluent neighborhoods, very true, one of the suburbs where the rich white folk live, and found a naked white woman inside, the body cam footage would have told a much different story. Now, they say, fortunately for the woman, city officials today voted to pay her $2.9 million. Unfortunately for the taxpayers who must shell out the money for the cops sociopathic abuse of the victim. The officer in charge of the botched raid, Sergeant Alex Walensky, still has his job and won't have to pay a cent. Honey, this is why I say sue the police. Don't just sue the police department. Sue the individual cops who are involved in this type of BS. Sue them. Put a lien on their insurance. Sue them for their pension. That's what you do. Because they need consequences and repercussions so they know not to do this again. Maybe next time they'll think twice before they kick in the wrong door. How often does this happen? I'm glad you asked. All the time. Remember, they were at the wrong house when they came to Breonna Taylor's house and killed her. Right? How many times will they do this? So anyway, and they were also at the wrong house when they killed that white couple too, remember? But those cops went to prison, honey, because they were black. Now, goes on to say, Sergeant Walensky still has his job. Walensky has 11 complaints against him, including 10 for use of force, more than 83% of other officers in the Chicago department. He has 83% more, okay, of use of force violations, complaints. Oh, so crazy. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this. Yas Chosen says, Black men and women, we need one another together. We are more powerful. All of this divide with this gender war is not going to help neither of us as a nation. You're exactly right, beloved. Here's the thing, though. That's exactly why there is a gender divide, because this is being manufactured by the status quo. They're the ones trying to turn the black men against the black women, telling black men that black women are angry, that they're gold diggers. And no, there are some black women that are these things, but there's also black women who are not. Most black women are not. And then they're telling black women that black men are abusive, that they only want white women, that they're this, that, and the third, they don't want to work, they don't want to take care of their children. They're saying all these things just to it's called gender politics. Like I told you all before. And not only that, that's why they try to make the black people they try to make our gay brothers and sisters, try to make them think that we don't care about them, that we're homophobic. When they come out there doing Black Lives Matter protests and start talking about trans lives matter. Well, listen, here's Black trans lives matter. Okay, if you're black and you're trans, then Black Lives Matter includes you too. Like, this is the things they do. They sow seeds of division. And I want you to pay attention, because the main devils who sow the seeds of division are the first ones to yell when black people are talking about racism. They're saying, oh, they're being divisive. That's why they don't want critical race theory being taught. They say that's being divisive. That's why they don't want children to learn about our leaders like Dr. King and Malcolm X, because they say that's being divisive. How are the ones that are always causing the divide suddenly going to try to blame us for being divisive when that's all they've ever been? At the end of the day, this should be called the divided snakes, not the United States, because who's united? I'm sorry, make that make sense. So Aziz says nobody is black, though. That's the fact. Well, we know no one is black, beloved. We know that black has no standing in law. I've said that 1,000 times, but we refer to ourselves as black because that's just what most of us are used to. We absolutely know that no one is black, okay? At the end of the day. I don't know how y'all are getting kicked off, honey. They must clearly be hating. They must clearly be hating. But anyway, let me continue. Now, there's another video that I want to show. Hold on. I didn't even show the first video. I'm sorry. I'm getting off track. Let me show this first video. The non-conscious community turning our sisters against the men. The decile plan. Exactly. This is what they're doing. Christopher says, keep putting in the black media work, queen. Make it all make sense. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to mute myself.
Now to that CBS 2 investigators exclusive, a story about another bad raid by Chicago police that the city's legal team is trying to stop us from telling you. It involves an innocent woman getting handcuffed, naked, with a dozen male officers watching. Now, she wants you to see the body camera video, but tonight the city went to federal court to try to keep it secret. Here's CBS 2 investigator Dave Savini.
I had just gotten home from work. And I was undressing in my bedroom.
It was a cold February night, and Anjanette Young, a social worker, had just finished her shift at the hospital.
You see them running up to the apartment complex with the battering ram in their hand.
Chicagopolice,
A crowbar. It was so traumatic to hear the way the thing was hitting the door. And it happened so fast, I didn't have time to put on clothes.
And suddenly, she found herself frozen in fear, completely naked, in a room full of men. 9 body cameras rolling.
And you're just standing there.
And I'm just standing there. I mean, terrified, humiliated, not even understanding why in that moment that this is happening to me.
And the first thing police reach for is not clothing, it's handcuffs.
There were big guns and guns with lights and scopes on them, and they were yelling at me, you know, put your hands up, put your hands up.
What are you thinking right now?
I just remember, you know, being so afraid. It's one of those moments where I just felt like that I could have died that night. If I had made one wrong move, I felt like they would have shot me. I truly believe that they would have shot me.
A police officer wraps a short coat around her shoulder, still leaving her front fully exposed. Even the sergeant in charge of the raid just stands there talking to her while she has nothing covering her. Then she gets a blanket.
They just threw something over me. And my hands are behind my back and I'm handcuffed. So there was no way for me to secure the blanket that they put around me.
But the blanket just keeps sliding open. More humiliation.
You need to tell me what you're looking for. What are you looking for?
You can see how some officers just stand there until this one, wearing a mask, sees what's happening and goes and holds it in place.
It felt like forever for me. It felt like forever.
Oh my God, this cannot be right. How is this legal?
Listen how she repeatedly tells the raid team they were in the wrong place.
You have the wrong place. You got the wrong house. You got the wrong house.
We counted. She says it at least 43 times.
You got the wrong house.
And she was right. They were in the wrong house. Our investigation uncovered police failed to do the most basic research before getting the search warrant approved. We found they simply took the word of an informant who gave them Anjanette Young's address. The informant claimed a 23-year-old man who was a known felon had a gun and ammo inside.
I don't know who that person is. I've been living here for 4 years and nobody lives here but me. I don't have to shout. This is ridiculous. You got me in here because I'm naked. You kicked my house in. And I keep telling you, you got the wrong place.
Then, during the raid, something happens. Watch as 2 of the officers go to their squad car and begin reviewing their notes about the warrant. CPD would not comment on what you're about to hear the officers saying a few minutes later.
It wasn't initially approved or some crap. What does that mean? I have no idea, because they told him it was approved, and then I guess that person messed up on their end.
Messed up is an understatement. So where was the target? Our investigation revealed he was awaiting trial on home confinement here at a different apartment in Anjanette Young's complex. How easy would it have been to locate him? Easy, real easy, because he was wearing a police tracking device, an electronic monitoring bracelet. It's possible he could have even heard the raid happening because records show he was confined to the unit right next door.
But I'm telling you it's wrong. I'm asking you to let me call somebody. I'm asking you to let me put the clothes on. I'll sit here and let you do whatever you need to do. But let me call somebody, let me call an attorney, because I'm telling you this is wrong. I have nothing to do with whoever this person is you're looking for.
We found if they would have done a little bit more research, they might have found where the target actually lived.
Yes.
I think Screw Up was being too kind because ultimately this is a constitutional rights issue. And
Keenan
so,
Salter is Anjanette Young's attorney and is suing the police department.
if this had been a young woman in Lincoln Park by herself in her home, naked, a young white woman, let's just be frank, if the reaction would have been the same. I don't think it would have been. I think they would have saw that woman, rightfully so, as someone who was vulnerable, someone who deserved protection, someone who deserved to have their dignity maintained. They viewed Ms. Young as less than human.
They did eventually walk her to a
Rightfully so, as someone who was vulnerable, someone who deserved protection, someone who deserved to have their dignity maintained. They viewed Ms. Young as less than human.
Can I please call somebody? Yeah, man, relax. How can I relax when this is going on?
They did eventually walk her to a room to remove the handcuffs so she could get dressed, but then put them right back on and kept questioning her.
There are no firearms in this place.
There's no gun in this place. I'm a social worker. I've been a social worker for 20 years. I follow the law. I don't get in trouble for anything. I don't do illegal stuff. I'm not that person. You got the wrong information.
At this point, the sergeant in charge of the raid tells the officer who got the warrant to step outside.
Let's go talk outside.
But you won't hear it because once outside, the body camera is shut off. Back inside Anjanette's home, another officer finally uncuffs her. She had been bound for 20 minutes. Listen as the sergeant returns with a new message.
We believe your story.
And you can see him trying to fix the door they busted so she could close it and lock it. But it was too damaged to repair, so watch as they try to find something to wedge it shut. They settle on an ironing board.
Surreal?
Surreal. It's almost like a bad movie. When I watch this, I feel like I'm watching a movie. But those are no actors. I'm no actor. This is my real life. And it happened to me. They're adding trauma to people's lives that will be with them for the rest of their lives. The work is warranted. They need to do the work, but they need to do it right. They can't just callously do it and leave people's lives in ruins because they got it wrong.
The sergeant in charge apologized to her before he left. CPD has refused to comment on this case. It's been 2 years since the raid, and COPA, the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, says they're still in the process of trying to interview all of the officers involved. They did not say if anyone has been disciplined. At City Hall, Dave Savini, CBS 2 Investigators.
The CBS 2 investigators have been looking at this pattern of Chicago police raiding innocent families' homes for more than 2 years. You can find our extensive coverage on our website at cbschicago.com/unwarranted.
No, they said they have been doing this for 2 years. So this is a regular occurrence. Thank you, Mr. Mystical Black Realms, for your contribution, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings to you. This is just all so crazy, but they never roll up on the Chicago gang members. Exactly. Okay. And I'm the only one who can't see the video now. Okay, Erin is saying she can't see the video. Is anyone else having trouble seeing it? Because she says that she's able to chat, but she can't view the video. Is anyone else having that issue? Crimson County said, go ahead and refresh. And they're blaming it on ScrewTube. They said, go ahead and refresh. You know how they play games, beloved. You know how to do. Mimi says, YouTube don't like our queen. Right. Clearly the hate is real, right? This is what they do, beloveds. So anyway, I just thought that was real crazy. That woman was so humiliated and embarrassed. And of course they wouldn't have done that to someone who was white. That's what they wouldn't have done. And they were nonchalantly. And then, hold on, pay attention. When he went out there, he said, the cop went out there and looked at the warrant, said that it wasn't approved. Now, I'm sorry. You should know whether or not the warrant is approved because it's supposed to be signed by a judge. He said the person got the okay, but somebody messed up. How do you mess up? You don't double check it before you just bum rush somebody in their home? And the person they were looking for was right next door. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to something because they claim that the person, the informant who gave them the address, gave them the wrong address. That happens a lot. Remember the 92-year-old Black woman in Atlanta, Georgia, who an informant gave the wrong address according to them? I think they just had the wrong address on the, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't the informant. They had the wrong address on the warrants. And then once they went in there and shot that old woman and killed her, they lied and said she shot them first. Now you're going to tell me that a 92-year-old lady sitting in a chair, the police bum rush her, at least 6 cops, and she has time to grab a gun and fire at them first? It later came out that they were lying. Some of them went to jail, I do believe, went to prison. And they tried to get this guy who was an informant, they tried to get him to lie and say that he went to that house before and purchased drugs from somebody named Sam. Well, instead of going along with their BS, he exposed them. And then we haven't heard from him since, okay? He's likely dead somewhere because I never heard anything else about him or his story. Thank you, Ali, beloved, for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings to you. So it's just all real crazy. All real crazy. But hold on. There's one more video about this story. Hold on. I'm going to pull this up. Then I'm going to roll out of here. Everyone like and share. Please like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Likes up, everyone. Likes up. I'm going to mute my mic.
False positive and negative results may occur. Ask your provider if Cologuard is right for you.
Count me in.
Me too.
When 13 Chicago police officers raided Ann Jeanette Young's home in February 2019, she was restrained while getting ready for bed and was forced to stand handcuffed and naked as officers searched her residence. It turned out to be the wrong home. Today, Celia Meza, the city's corporation counsel, on why the city is agreeing to a $2.9 million settlement.
She was left in a complete state of undress for 16 seconds after the officers entered, and that it took a full 10 minutes until she was allowed to get fully dressed.
Meza suggests if the case went to trial, a jury might award Young up to $16 million for each second she was completely undressed.
We all saw the way in which she was treated.
At one point, the city requested sanctions against Young for sharing the video of the raid, but then the city backed off, saying they only wanted to sanction Young's attorney. The Finance Committee unanimously agreed to the settlement after some debate.
I believe that we owed her more for the horrible way in which she was treated that day.
Mayor Lightfoot has personally apologized to Ann Jeanette Young.
I think it's a good thing that this matter is resolved. Obviously, assuming city council approval, this will provide her, I think, with a substantial amount of resources. And I think that that's a good thing. It's a good thing for our city. We need to heal from this and move forward.
With Verizon Business Unlimited plans, you can
I'm sorry. Mayor Lightfoot, she does look like Beetlejuice, especially by that hairline. Like, she has a whole receding hairline, like a dude. Like, that's real crazy. So anyway, Butterfly 7 said, how fake. Rady King said she looked like a fool. She is a fool, if you ask me, beloved. And absolutely, she looks like one, because she's always upholding the Chicago police in their BS. She apologized, but she clearly didn't mean it, as far as I'm saying. I cannot stand her either. Hold on. Another incompetent Black politician says films 5555. I agree. Absolutely agree. Miss Ebby says Lightfoot was probably lusting after her old nasty heifer, Beetlejuice. There's everybody's drunk uncle. Okay, you all are too much. So anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. For those of you who were having troubles viewing it, whether it was buffering or they kept kicking you out or whatever, honey, I do apologize for the nefariousness, but maybe you can just watch it again on the replay. You know how they do. So with that all being said, I wish you all love, peace, and prosperity, and I want to thank you all for tuning Blaque in once again. All right, and I hope to see you all in the next chat. Don't forget to text the word Royals to 1-844-589-6096 in order to receive occasional text offers, notifications, and alerts. And make sure you follow me on Instagram at QueenAShakur, and make sure you also follow the Queen Shakur fan page, and you can catch me on Twitter at DGoddess27. Until I talk to you again,